Just want to give you a flavor about how can BIM and the construction business leverage banking business as well. As you know, BIM was is very fruitful technology and proven to be very efficient for the construction business. We have been working, to give you a small introduction about AI Digits and my team. We started the business of BIM since more than 23 years. We started in 1997. We emerged in the heart of a mega contractor, and we started and we leveraged BIM since that time for the construction of many projects worldwide. So we have more than 23 years of hands-on quality work, more than 200 projects in diversified fields in the civil works, oil and gas, hospitals, infrastructure works, more than 20 million meters square of building space and infrastructure layouts, more than 45 billion of US dollar value of works. Our team consists of more than 200 talented BIM engineers and a group of about 50 ICT and automation experts. Just in the beginning, I would like to tell you some basics about the way we work. Our definition for information management, or BIM, is simply or challengingly, it is expressed in this diagram. So BIM is the central information data repository where all the functions of a project or a client, or the systems, commercial applications, time management, material management, construction, document management, all of them are integrated in what we call it a central data repository, where the project or the facility can be maintained, can be run, can be constructed. So if you want to do really an effective utilization of this technology, you need to look seriously in integration between the different applications and the different functions, the different systems and the different people in an organization or in a project. And this is the philosophy and the heart of our operation. And as you know, interoperability and data exchange between clients, between stakeholders, between the different stakeholders or the different partners in any system or in any project require a serious look towards interoperability and data exchange. That's why we give this topic a serious look, and we have developed what we call it electronic data interface. And this electronic data interface is the start of any relation between us and others, or between any partners working in this technology or around information exchange and information management. The third fundamental for our operation is scope management. If you want to do anything properly, you need to understand how to quantify it, how to measure it, whether it's a space, an area, whether it is material to be bought, whether it is equipment to be utilized, resources to be deployed. So you need to understand very well the scope of what you want to build, what you want to manage. And once you know it well, you can plan it well, and definitely you can a lot of things to control the operation of that facility or that asset. The fourth basic fundamental for our operation is how to name assets, to work with objects. These objects must have a unique identifier, what we call it an asset tag. And this asset tag needs to be maintained through any phase: design, construction, post-construction, handing over, facility management, operation and maintenance, even integrating with GIS, integrating with IoT. So we need to have an asset, and this asset needs to be tagged, need to be captured. All the information for that asset need to be hosted in a central data integrated repository with all the information about this object specifically which means the whole facility is in one central data repository, carrying the shape, the functional characteristics, the physical characteristics, the documents, all the information relevant for that asset in one system. And this is one of the basic fundamental ways we work and operate in the BIM field. Last but not least, it's very important to capture information. You need to structure it, save it, and then disseminate the information, share it with other stakeholders, suppliers, partners. And so collaboration and data sharing is a fundamental in our work. And of course, collaboration, workflows, and workflow management is also important to our business. Now let's talk about the relation between banking sector and the construction business. It is obvious that there is so much dependence of the construction sector on the banking business. And actually all the supply chain of projects on the construction field takes facilities from banks, whether a main contractor, supplier, subcontractor, logistics, all of the construction process do take facilities and utilize bank facilities in their operation. So there is huge dependence of the construction industry on the banking sector and the other way around. This is one important synergy or place where banking system and the construction system and the construction sector is overlapping. The second one is a lot of banks and investors go in partnership with public partnership, private partnerships to create projects, to create assets. And this requires the collaboration between the owner, and this time the owner is the banking system and the contractor. So it's not only financing, it's also owner. So the bank is acting like either a full owner or a partial owner. The third way of cooperation between the banking system and the construction sector is the fact that the banks are hosted in buildings or facilities, and these facilities are constructed by contractors. So there's a direct relation between banks and the assets they are hosted in, and of course the construction companies who have built these assets. And last but not least, there is a significant contribution for the banking system in innovation and sustainability, green buildings, and circular economy. And of course, this is a field where BIM has proven very successful in giving solid information to all these technologies that we will see some examples in a while. Now we'll take it one by one and discuss some of the aspects and then show you a couple of use cases from our experience in our relation with the banking sector. So when it comes to a bank financing the construction supply chain, then the banks really need to understand if those who are taking loans from the bank, if they are performing properly or not. And as all of us know, BIM gives great platform for transparent information reporting, for capturing progress and the healthy stand of participants or suppliers of a project. And as such, the banks will feel more confident about the performance of those who are giving them loans or those who are taking loans from the banks. So the bank needs a transparent way to understand if those suppliers or those who are taking loans are performing properly or not. And in general, the bank is interested to know if the project is performing properly or not. Another way is, or another point where the bank needs to utilize this technology very well is to verify the scope or an accurate assessment of the scope of work. And this, as all of us know, BIM is well positioned in providing scope to the supply chain, including the banking who are providing the financial background for project execution. Of course, as we said, banks need to understand if projects are performing properly or not. They need to check the performance of the main contractor, the supplier, the subcontractor, the manufacturer, because they are utilizing the money of the banks for running their business. And at a certain point, they need to return the money. And this relation is dependent on the performance on the project. As you know, a lot of facilities are given to the participants in a project based on their invoices. So somebody needs to check and verify that the invoices are credible and the performance of that supplier is credible. And as we know, variation orders, change management affects the relation between the construction sector and banks. And definitely, from our experience, BIM has been well established in verifying variations and checking the assessment of change orders. And as such, in this place, banks can use and utilize this technology to understand the value of variation and then give financing based on the value of the change order. Those are some fields where banks can cooperate and utilize BIM during the construction process for those who are building the facility. And what you see in front of you is an example of how BIM can give a very good stand of the position of the construction process and how the different interfaces between the different participants in a project can be captured in a BIM model. And also the relation between the financing sector and the banks can also be depicted in virtually, and in a BIM system can check the payment certificate, can check the progress of a project, and as such, the bank can also have a look on the performance of the project. Now, when we talk about banks being owners for projects, in this case, now the bank is not looking only in the performance of the project only. It is looking in ensuring that his facility is going to be delivered in time, in the correct quality, with the proper quality, according to the specifications. And also he needs to control the cost and the budget. He needs to make sure that his budget is maintained, and as much as possible, he can make less expenditure for that facility. And in the construction business, BIM has proven very effective as a project management tool. So there is a lot of the functions of project management, including planning, time management, progress monitoring, quality control, cost management, payment certificates, creating a dashboard where the bank can refer to and check the performance of his facility. If the designer has finished his work or not. Does the contractor has finished his work properly or not? Is the payment due? Is credible or not? All this can be extracted for the bank as an owner for a project that he is owning or that he is executing to achieve a certain target. And as you can see from our experience, we have realized important benefits for the construction industry if BIM is well positioned and executed through all the supply chain of the construction process. And you can see there's great saving that can be depicted, and the owner of the facility can get huge amount of return if he invests early enough in having a complete and comprehensive platform that drives the construction process digitally, creating a digital transformation platform where he can execute, see, and follow the construction operations from A to Z. This is an example for in one of our projects where one of the banks has two huge projects, and you can see a map of the locations of the projects, and also a map of the location of his branches. So we'll talk about the branches later, but now we are focusing about project dashboard. This is a dashboard. So the bank can check the status of permits, the status of documentation, the design, the percentage progress of the procurement through the dashboard for each and every project. And also he can witness visually each and every project, what is the progress in a BIM environment in a colored way. So he knows, for example, green is executed, gray is under construction, for example, or blue is 25% progress. And the third, collaboration between banking sector and construction business, and how BIM is leveraged in this cooperation. When banks, they have a lot of assets, buildings, facilities. Inside each and every building or facility, there are tremendous amount of assets, chairs, furniture, equipment, mechanical assets, electrical assets. And it is very important for the bank to be able to witness and see all these assets in a huge data base connected to many analysis and big data platform, where he can make good projection of the performance of his total portfolio of assets, how much he is spending for maintenance, how much he is spending for operations, how much he is spending for preventive maintenance, how much he is spending on repairs. So he is going to have a holistic view about the performance of his assets, and in a certain branch or in all the branches. He can also get deeper and using this technology by integrating the assets with IoT sensors, so he can have an as-built digital twin of the asset, and also a dynamic view of the performance of each and every asset through the sensors that are connected to that asset. So he gets an as-built condition and the performance dynamic database, so he can check the performance of the assets of his of a certain branch or of the whole portfolio of assets he has. And definitely during the operation and maintenance phase, he can achieve through that integration tremendous amount of return and benefits. And I would like just to take you to a couple of dashboards that we have developed for banks, where they can witness the performance of certain assets. For example, they can go to the dashboard, select a certain branch, and then go specifically to that branch and check the price of that asset, the performance of that asset, when it was last maintained, what was the cost of maintenance, when is the next schedule to be maintained, and then they can do a comprehensive cost or maintenance cost for the whole branch, or maybe at the end of the year for all the branches together. As you can see, you can do a lot of filtering and manipulation of data. Those are all live data. And this is really, this is an example from an existing use case for one of the banks in Africa. And as I said, you can integrate this with IoT system, and for one of our clients, we have integrated 26 different IoT systems with our dashboard, with our central BIM data repository. So you can see a 3D model for each and every asset. You can check the temperature, the performance, the quality of air in that room, the presence of persons in that room, and you can have an integrated view for all the branches at the hands of the top management or executives, where they can make good decisions about the performance of the building or the performance of the whole assets or portfolio of assets of the bank. Last but not least, I would like to talk about banks and their support for innovation, sustainability, green buildings, and circular economy. And as you know, BIM is a huge asset in that because it captures all the functional characteristics of a facility with all the components of that facility. So a tremendous amount of studies can be done, designs can be enhanced to make the building performance more green friendly, more environment friendly, reduce the carbon footprint, and enhance the performance of buildings in general. And I believe all these technologies the banks are interested to invest in, whether it is for their own facilities or for the facilities they are financing. And this is an example of very unique, innovative ideas where you can integrate BIM with manufacturing and creating a very robust and effective way for making the manufacturing process very smart and more cost effective. And this is some areas where banks would like to invest with manufacturers and factories. So where the bank will invest in innovation and manufacturers will receive the value as well as the banks. It's just an example for demonstration. And of course, we have utilized BIM very well for sustainability studies in many projects. And that's why I'm emphasizing on the importance of banks being investing in sustainability initiatives for integrating BIM with sustainability, and this can be very fruitful for the supply chain of the construction industry and also for the banking sector. This is the end of my presentation. Just at the last slide, I'm emphasizing here on the importance and value of education, educating the supply chain from contractors, suppliers who are receiving this education and knowledge and then executing that on site properly. This is a huge investment that need to be looked at because the return of investment for having such educated resources is tremendous for the construction sector, for the banking sector, and for the whole society. And this is felt in all the projects that we worked with all our clients. And I believe it is a very good investment for banks to look in educating the supply chain on digital transformation and building information modeling. Thank you so much for listening. I hope the presentation was fruitful for all of you. And this is the end of my presentation.